Hello again. It is quite likely, the way that the present Labour government are going, that whoever is elected leader of the Conservative Party in less than a month will become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in a few years' time after the next general election. For this reason, I think it important that the person who becomes leader of the opposition in November is British. Only one of the two candidates is in that category. Even by the most liberal interpretation of the term, Kemi Badenoch is not British. This is by way of being what one might describe as the elephant in the room, because not one person in the mainstream media would dare to say so out loud, although everybody knows it and it's glaringly obvious. Badenoch's parents are Nigerians who lived in Nigeria, where her mother became pregnant in 1979. Her mother then flew to Britain to give birth to Kemi Badenoch in London in January 1980. She then returned to Nigeria with the baby. As the law stood at that time, because the baby happened to have been born in Britain, it automatically acquired British nationality. This was once a popular racket, by the way, essentially an immigration scam. It was operated in Ireland as well as Britain. Somebody would arrive in a late stage of pregnancy, have the baby in Britain or Ireland, simply to ensure that he or she would be entitled to a British or Irish passport. The law has changed in both countries, and this particular loophole has been closed now. Badenoch herself, with breathtaking cynicism, describes her acquisition of British citizenship by this means as gaining one of Willy Wonka's golden tickets. In the description to this video, I give a link to the source of this quote. From a few weeks after her birth, Badenoch grew up in Nigeria as an ordinary Nigerian. She spoke Yoruba, as did her parents. English is not her first language. At one point, her mother took her to live in the United States, and then they returned to Nigeria. In 1996, there was disorder and political violence in Nigeria, and so, at the age of 16, Badenoch was sent to live in Britain with a friend of her mother's. Her presence in this country and the fact that she had a British passport was all part of a cunning and planned piece of opportunism on the part of her family. By any normal meaning of the term, Kemi Badenoch arrived in Britain as a foreigner. Her possession of British citizenship was a result of a common piece of trickery in the 1980s, and she had no connection with or understanding of Britain at all until she was an adult. This then is the person who may quite possibly become the Prime Minister in 5 years' time. I do not think for a moment that Kemi Badenoch's relationship with and love of this country is even remotely comparable to my own, or that of other people whose families have been rooted in Britain for 1,000 years. How could it be? The idea is simply absurd. How could somebody whose first language is not English and who had no experience at all of Britain until after she had left school possibly be as much a part of Britain as I am myself? I'm saying nothing at all about her intelligence, personal character, abilities, or anything else you will observe. She strikes me as very sharp-witted and astute, possibly more so than the other contender for the post of Tory leader, Robert Jenrick. But she is not British, and for that reason alone I would not wish to see her as Prime Minister. If this causes others to view me as a fanatical little Englander and small-minded bigot, then so be it. I want a British Prime Minister for Britain.